Hi everyone, it's Victoria here. I hope all is really good for you and you're having a wonderful week so far. So another question, keep them coming, honestly. I love it when members get in touch and just anyone gets in touch and asks questions. So the question was, what's the difference between the calibers and why do I need to shoot a 20 gauge? That's a really great question actually. So in this week I'm going to explain calibers on shotguns. So if you've ever wondered why shotguns have the number they do for their bore size, then hopefully I can kind of break it down a little bit for you. And there's a bit of a fun fact as well. So I'm going to kick off with bore size and why they have that number and how it comes from a brilliant quirky old law that involves a pound of lead. Love these little kind of quirky old laws. So the diameter of the barrels is set by how many times a pound of lead can be divided into equal sized balls that can roll freely down the barrel of your gun. So say if you have a lump of lead that weighed a pound in weight, so as we know, so if you divided that into equal sized balls for a 12 bore, you'd get 12. So that's where the 12 bore gets its number from. So it's effectively a 12th of a pound of lead. So hopefully you're following. So the old method came from the early days of cannons and their shot size with a 1 pound ball of lead, which was a shot size 1. So I want to talk about the calibers and how they're a little bit different and just hopefully give you a bit more knowledge. So the standard sizes in the UK for calibers of shotguns are 12, 16, 20, 28 and a 410. So there are larger calibers such as a 10 or an 8 gauge which will be bigger, heavier guns and you'd use for things like wildfowling. I've shot both an 8 and a 10 gauge and they are pretty big, huge, chunky things and I'm nearly 6 foot tall. So anyway, by the by, 12 gauge is the most common caliber. So with this in mind, they're generally more affordable as there's more in the market and as a result, standard 12 gauge cartridges are cheaper as there's more demand. 12 gauges are more heavier and so therefore they absorb more recoil. There are 16 gauges which have made a bit of a renaissance in recent years. They aren't an overly common caliber. They're seen as quite classy. Make great ladies' guns as they have a bit less weight than a 12, but more than 20. So they're much better with recoil. Getting your hands on ammo isn't quite as easy with a 16 gauge, but it is out there. 20 gauges, most popular with lady shots and men alike. Smaller guns which weigh less, which is why women tend to like them. They tend to cost more than a 12 and the ammunition is a little bit more expensive as well. They make great game guns as they're much lighter for carrying around all day. So 28 gauges are small guns and great for petite ladies and a great starter gun for children actually. And again, aren't as common and ammunition's a little bit more expensive and it's just not quite as freely available as 12 and 24s, although most shooting grounds have it. Then there's a tiny 410, which is a little tiny caliber, which is slightly different in that it's measured in points per inch. I love to shoot a 410. They're like shooting a little pea shooter and they're the perfect gun for children and pest controlling. So hopefully my little rundown of calibers has helped. And if you have a question or would like to leave a comment, do let me know. And also I just love how steeped in history our sport is and just quirky little traditional practices like how calibers are measured. Anyway, I will see you next week.